Welcome to The Unlikely Executive, the podcast where passion meets purpose. Here we share stories of people who have transformed their lives and the world around them by following what truly drives them. I'm Barbra Carlisle, an executive coach and mentor for non-profits, and I help people who want to make a positive impact actually do it. Let's dive in. Today we've got Rob Lapsley from Love Jasmine. So hi Rob.
Hey Barbara, nice to be here.
So today we're going to talk about your history and how you've ended up, whether that's the right word or not, being the CEO and the founder of Love Jasmine.
Yes, so 10 years ago, it was just over 10 years ago, our daughter Jasmine died when she was 6, very suddenly. Obviously not expected. You end up dealing with a situation you never hope you ever find yourself. There's something that always happens to other people. It became apparent to us that there wasn't support out there. There was nowhere for people to meet others going through that same situation. Particularly my wife wanted to meet others. So 2 years later, we set up Love Jasmine. And it was to provide that peer support, and as well as sort of relaxation therapies. We were essentially trying to fill gaps which we felt were there in the area.
So, and the area being the Liverpool City region.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Obviously, we've talked before, so I know about Jasmine. So, I'm still sorry to hear that. And what was it within the 2 years? What was the process that you went through to decide we need to provide the support that we didn't have?
I think we always felt as if we needed to do something to sort of keep her name alive anyway. I mean, we could have done that in a lot of different ways. We didn't need to set a charity up to do that, for instance. Once Jasmine's inquest was out the way in January of 2016, we started seriously then thinking about what we could do, if anything. And there was that need of, well, there's no groups there. There's no way for people to meet. And let's do that. So how did we do it? It was the first thing I'd had a little bit of experience sort of volunteering with another group a number of years before, and I sort of knew the process of trying to figure out where to go. So I knew Liverpool Charitable Voluntary Service, LCVS, were a good starting point, and so we turned to them really. Attended one of their startup workshops to try and sort of figure out what sort of legal structure we were going to be, if it would be a charity at all, or or whether it would be a CIC. We just didn't know. We needed to just try and figure it out. We then sort of went through the process of finding trustees that we wanted to bring along with us. And we went to people we knew who could actually bring that value to that. I mean, these people we knew, my sister's an accountant, so she seemed an obvious fit. Another friend of ours who was a counsellor. We knew somebody in HR. So we went through that process. They went there because they were for our friends and family were there because of what they could bring. Yeah. And we went through the process then of putting an application in to the Charity Commission in the summer of 2016. And in the end of September that year, we got the charity number and we were registered charity. And we didn't tell anybody about it other than a very close circle. That's what the plans were. We kept everything very quiet until we got the charity number, and then we started advertising it, then trying to raise money. And then it was the following year that we put our first services in place, and the first groups were in place in February 2017.
Why did you go down the charity route? What was it about setting up as a charity rather than a CIC?
We felt it was a better fit.
I'd
certainly have to do in the workshop. It just sort of confirmed a little bit what we thought anyway, that this was a charity. There was that benefit for the public and having it as a charity rather than a CIC. And that was the reason why, really, after the startup workshop, it could just confirm to us that was the right thing to do.
So the startup workshop, who went to that? Was it you and your wife, or was it?
Yeah, both of us went along. Yeah, so that was a few hours on one day. We went along to it, and it just sort of explained how we could set up. And then we went away and put it together, put the application in. Finally got it on the 28th of September 2016.
Yeah. And so when you talk about it's you and your wife, and what role does she have now?
Well, Kathy spent a long time getting qualified as a counsellor, so now she's coordinating the counselling as well as the other support that we do. So we initially started off with just groups, but after a while we got asked about, can you provide counselling? Initially we said no, we didn't know whether we could afford it, but as we grew and we knew the demand was there, that's when we put it in place. So that's a massive part of what we do now. But we also put, as well as the groups that we started with a number of years ago, we've got a lot of different groups that all need to coordinate. And we're twice as busy as we were this time 2 years ago. Yeah. So there's a lot more to do. So she's coordinating all the new referrals coming in, has her own counselling workload as well. And it's generally sort of being that first point of contact for families when they come to us.
Yeah. And where do you get your referrals from, Rob?
Local hospitals, other organisations that work with bereaved people. Word of mouth. Unfortunately, somebody knows somebody who's lost a child, then tells them, oh, okay, we got support from here. So they pass that on, and it's just grown and grown quite organically in many ways over the years. And
so you set up, and then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And if you're doing that group support, peer support, how easy was that to continue once that COVID had come?
It was a little bit difficult at first. I think weirdly enough, we actually bought a laptop. We got funding for a laptop in November of 2019, so we could do remote sessions. So we already sort of had it in our mind that this is something that would help families. So it was a question of sort of, okay, now we have any choice. We don't have any choice. That's all we can do. So we put online groups in. We carried the counselling online for those families that felt as if they were able to do it online. Some opted not to, because they just didn't feel like using technology, or it felt a little bit impersonal to them. That's how we sort of adapted with it, really. And then we sort of developed a website after COVID to make sure that if it happens again, we could still keep getting referrals through, because everything at that point in time was on paper. But now everything sort of comes through online and it's all digital. So if anything like that to happen again, we could just easily adapt. It wouldn't be a problem.
And roughly how many people are you helping, Rob?
At this moment in time, there's over 70 people accessing one-to-one counselling on a weekly or fortnightly basis. Last year, we helped over 280 people who come through for support with us. Many of the families who come to us, they're accessing long-term support, whether that's one-to-one counselling for a period of time, or then using the groups that we provide. And it's just for them, the families, for us, it's important that the families know that the support is there long-term.
So they can stay with you for as long as they need to. And are we talking families, children as well, or is it the parents primarily?
It is parents primarily who we support, but it's the whole family. So when the family comes to a support, that whole family is offered support in whatever way, shape or form suits them. So there's different aspects to it. And the sort of division for us is the families get the support they need when they need it for as long as they need it. And that's really, really fundamental to what we do. Any family coming to us, it's based around their needs. Some people want counselling, but some people want help with the housing benefits. They need help getting to our appointments. Or, it could be anything really, but that's what we'll do. We'll help them with what they need at that time.
Yeah. And am I right in remembering an earlier conversation we had where you were saying that it's for families where they've got a child bereavement, but that child may have died some time ago. It's not for if your child's died within the last 2 years, come and get our services. It's for like longer term bereavement that hasn't been resolved, or
it's for the loss of whenever that loss was. We'll support the family. So it could have been, the loss could have been last week, or it could have been 30 years ago. We'll still put support in place for the family. So particularly when the loss is historic, then a lot of families won't have dealt with it. And, it's brushed under the carpet, not dealt with, and eventually that'll come out somewhere, and that help is needed, and we can put that in place for families. So it doesn't matter how long ago the loss was, we'll put support in place.
And how do you look after yourself? Because obviously you're dealing with people who may be very grateful for the service and enjoy the moment that they're with that peer group, but what they bring is quite traumatic, isn't it, for them and for yourself maybe. But how do you look after yourself, Rob?
For me, I find it easier to switch off to it than I used to. There was times when I have found it difficult, and it was also quite difficult to separate my own grief from the families that would come to us. Sometimes it sort of blend into one, and you're taking on other people's grief. But it is sometimes of learning to sort of separate it a little bit. So all the counsellors that work with us, they get supervision. They also have access to wellbeing activities, and we're putting in a health plan for the counsellors as well as yourself. So there's that well-being outside of the office, complementary therapies, relaxation, discounted gym memberships and stuff like that. So there's the tools there for myself and the counsellors and anybody else who works with us to have that support outside, and the staff will know they can come to us. There's that group peer support within the staff as well.
Yeah, and that's really important, isn't it?
Yeah.
So with the ability to distance yourself more from grief of the families, what other things have you been able to do to grow yourself as a leader of the organisation? What's worked for you?
finding out what I need to improve on as well. And all of a sudden, for the first time, I was having to write funding bids, which is something I'd never ever done before as well, and sort of learning what is needed for it. So, finding little bits of training that I can go on. I've had to do that, and I've had to sort of essentially find out myself. I've had some one-to-one coaching as well.
Right, good to hear that.
She's very good anyway. I could give you a recommendation. So that really helped. I think I used to find myself being quite hard on myself and setting standards, which probably was never going to meet. But so having somebody to sometimes look at something else that you're doing and saying, well, have you looked at it this way, is really important. And that's actually helped me a lot. Sort of setting realistic goals for what we can do, and sort of celebrating the good stuff that you do, rather than sort of saying, okay, that didn't work that time. That's really bad. Focused on the stuff that you maybe got wrong, instead of actually looking at the big picture and thinking, do you know what, we're getting a lot more right than we're getting wrong. That's been really, really important for me, developing my own sort of skill set really in dealing with people, because it's important. Yeah,
we often don't recognise the little great things that we do, and we're so easy to criticise ourselves, aren't we? We're perhaps better at celebrating other people's successes, but always going, oh, well, it was only this, it was just that. So, it's really important that you can recognise those and celebrate them. And so what's next, Rob, in terms of your leadership development? Do you need any, are you itching to do anything in particular? Is there a skill that you really want to master, or if you nailed it?
I certainly haven't nailed it.
I was just checking.
100% certainly haven't nailed it. I don't know. I think you can always improve. I think on anything, I'll look at myself and go, oh, no, I haven't done that very well. I can still, certainly dealing with staff is always an issue anyway, and making sure that you get the best out of them, and then B, that they trust you as well. So it's always keeping an eye on that and making sure that's working well. And sort of checking in with yourself a little bit as well.
So the sort of soft management skills, and then obviously not the soft management skills, the direction to give people the ambition that they want to stay. Can I ask, what's it like working with your wife? That's a bit of a direct question, but I am curious because I could not work with my partner. Sorry, partner. But
she's not going to listen to this, so How do you
know she's not going to listen to it?
Because I'm not going to tell her about it. No, it obviously can have its challenges. I'm not going to lie, but genuinely we do agree on an awful lot on how the charity should be run, what we should be doing as a charity, the values and the beliefs that we have. It wouldn't have worked without both of us, because we've both felt the same and about an awful lot. Might disagree on some things, but that's normal, really. It can be hard separating work from home at times, because it sort of all becomes the same thing.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, I'm probably better at leaving work at work, and when I'm at home, being at home. Then Kathy is, for instance, and she gets completely absorbed with it, but that's just how she deals with stuff.
Yeah.
But generally it works well, because we both trust each other.
Yeah, absolutely fundamental. And, who doesn't argue on a good day even? So, it's understandable. And can I ask you, Rob, what were you doing before you set up Love Jasmine?
I've done all sorts. I've worked in casinos for 11 years.
Have you got any tips?
Yes, stay out.
Stay out.
There's only one winner in the end. So I worked there, worked on cruise ships for 7 years, worked in a supermarket. I've worked in, did some facilities management and health and safety. So I've done a lot of different jobs over the years.
So it's quite a difference between working on a cruise ship, working in a supermarket, and heading an organisation that means so much to so many people. What advice would you give to others in a similar situation who have found themselves with an itch or a need or a want to set up an organisation to support others? Any recommendations?
I definitely speak to as many different organisations as you can, and if you can, speak to the people who set it up. Get advice from people. We did that, and it was really, really helpful. Some of the best advice I ever got was meeting somebody who ran Once Upon a Smile in Manchester, named Daniel Gildens, and I'll never forget the bit of advice he gave me. Only do things when you need to do it. And I think certainly in the charitable sector, the third sector, that's really important, because you just don't, because the money is, you never know where the money's coming from in many instances. So being able to sort of think about that quite a lot. Can we do it? Do we need to do it?
Yeah.
That really helped me. So speaking to others, and it is in many ways networking as well. you'll get to know people and build relationships, and you generally find a lot of people will help you in the sector anyway, because they know where you're coming from. But it's definitely reaching out and seeing what help is out there and understanding what it's like, warts and all.
Yeah. And can I ask, what strengths do you think you bring to this role?
I believe in it.
Yeah.
In what we do. And I think that translates when I'm talking about it, certainly to people who work with us. I really believe in what we do. And now we're 8 years down the line, I can say, we are. I can demonstrate why I had that belief in the first place. It's a bit difficult at first to say, no, I believe this is going to work, because you don't have a track record to back it up. But what we've set up, and it's not really changed. It's changed in terms of size and the numbers that we're dealing with. But what we do has not really changed a great deal from the very beginning. I was talking about there about the vision that's been there from the beginning. I don't think that'll ever change. And it's that belief, I think, that is so important.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. If it's that belief, and then you create the values on the back of that belief, and then the people can see you living it out. Absolutely. And what about, how do you manage, you say you're quite good at separating work from home, but what do you like to do to energise yourself?
Go and watch a local non-league team, which I'm involved in, called Lower Breck, listening to music. And my 2 eldest boys, and we had the youngest as well, they're really into music, they're learning instruments, so...
Any trumpets in there?
No, thank God. They can leave the wind instruments outside. But no, they're watching them sort of growing there. I love listening to them, and we can see their development and how much they're improving. All of that. Exercising.
Any type of exercise, or?
I've officially retired from football now.
Have you?
The knees won't allow me.
There's walking football, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, but no, I'll leave that one for a while.
Excellent. And what would you like people to go away with today, Rob?
Seek help if you need it, and not just if in a certain way. If you need help, emotional support, like what we can provide with your families, but in any setting really. If you're struggling with your business, or you're struggling with anything, there's help there. Don't sit in it. Please seek help for whatever reason. It can only help. It can only improve what you do. Yeah,
and don't be bashful about it.
Yeah,
because everybody will be in that situation at one point or another.
Everybody has.
Yeah.
Nobody's got to the point where they are without having to deal with some issues.
Oh, that's great. And if people wanted to know more about Love Jasmine or to connect with you, how might they do that?
Our website is www.lovejasmine.org.uk. We're on social media as well, so Instagram and Facebook. We've got a Twitter account as well. You can come to me directly at LinkedIn, or our office number is 0151 459 4779.
Brilliant. And that's Jasmine with an E?
Jasmine with an E in the end.
Yeah. So www.lovejasmine with an E. .com.
.org.
Yeah, I didn't listen to that bit. .org. Everything's .com these days, isn't it? I forget about non-profits. So Rob, that's brilliant. Many thanks for coming in and talking to me today. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for tuning in to The Unlikely Executive. If today's conversation sparked a new idea, inspired a shift, or gave you the nudge to step into your purpose, embrace it and take action. Remember to like, share and subscribe so you don't miss opportunities that can transform the way you lead, work and live your life. I'm Barbra Carlisle, executive coach, mentor and trainer. You can find my details in the show notes, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about the show and about your own journey. Until next time, take that step to be more authentically you, live your purpose, and enjoy making a positive impact.